Welcome back to Mac Talks Football, and it's game week 9 in La Liga. Last weekend before the international break, second international break, so it is going to be quite important for every team. They are going to make sure that they can go to the international break on a high and with confidence. So they're going to make sure they give everything this weekend. Not that they don't give their everything in other weekends, but this is going to be then extra effort is going to be important to make sure that they don't go out on a loss. So it's going to be quite an eventful weekend. We had quite an interesting games last weekend, especially the biggest talk was Barcelona finally losing a game in La Liga. So we're going to see how they respond. The Madrid clubs, both of them, they lost a chance to get closer to Barcelona in their derby. So all of that and we're going to see how they all of them react this weekend. So let's go ahead and make the predictions. The first game is Leganes versus Valencia. Now it is 16th versus 18th. Both of these teams are struggling and are at the bottom half of the table. Leganes, they are winless in their last games, last 5 games, 3 defeats, and the last 2 games have been drawn. They drew last weekend against Rayo Vallecano as well. It ended up being quite a tight game. I expected that, but I thought Rayo might edge it, but Leganes got a point, and I think it was a very important point for them. They're playing against Valencia side, who got thrashed by Real Sociedad, a 3-0 for a 3-0 defeat for them. And they are back in the bottom half of the table, in the relegation zone again. So it is going to be it's a very important game early on in the season, playing basically at the moment a relegation rival. And I keep on saying early on in the season, this is game week 9, so like 1/4 of the league is done for La Liga, if you really think about that. So it's very important a game for them, and they both of them would try to make sure that they can get a win and get out of that relegation scrap, maybe get some important points. So it's going to be very close. Leganes, they are at home and they would want to get the win, but I don't think that is gonna happen with the way that both of these teams are playing. I think it is gonna end up in a draw again, and I think it will be a very tight game like last weekend between Rayo and Leganes. So I'm going for another 1-1 draw, Leganes 1 and Valencia 1. The next game is Espanyol versus Mallorca. It is 17th versus 6th. Now Espanyol sort of had not that much of a good start, but it felt like they were recovering and they got a couple of good wins. But the last three games have been defeats for them. They lost last weekend again to Real Betis 1-0. It was a close game, but they lost that game. I predicted that to happen, so I'm quite happy with that. Last weekend's prediction. They are playing against a Mallorca side who are having a great season at the moment. They are 6th. They have won their I think they are undefeated in their last 4 or 5 games. They have won their last 3 games in a row. So the confidence at Mallorca is really high at the moment. And even though I think they are the away team, they are going away at Espanyol, I just don't see any other result apart from a Mallorca win. I think they are gonna get the win and they are gonna continue their good form. And Espanyol, they have lost 3 in a row already. I think it is gonna be a 4 in a row. I am going for a 2-0 win for Mallorca. The next game is Getafe versus Osasuna. It's 15th versus 17th. Now Getafe finally got their first win of the season last weekend against Alaves. It was a convincing 2-0 win, so they would be really happy that they have finally got that hoodoo of their back, that they were one of the teams that had not won a game until now. So it was important for them to do that, and they did it. So as I said, it was very important. It was a good game as well. It was a convincing win for them as well, and they would want to continue that. They are playing against Osasuna side, who became the first team last weekend to defeat Barcelona. They have played, their season has been really good till now. They are 7th in the league as well, and they have been undefeated in the last 4 games, and I think it is gonna continue. It is going to be quite a close game. The Getafe are gonna be very high on confidence. They are gonna be at home as well, and Osasuna, of course, they are gonna be high on confidence as well. I think it will be quite a fun game, but I think again the away side is gonna get the win. I think Osasuna go there and they somehow nick a win out of Getafe. I think it will end up being a very close game, and I think Osasuna win it 1-0. The next game is Valladolid versus Rayo Vallecano. It's 19th versus 9th. And now Valladolid, they are really struggling at the moment. Last 5 games, 4 of them have been a defeat, including last weekend they lost to Mallorca 2-1. They were at home that time as well, but they were not able to do anything in that game. So they really need to get a win from somewhere, because it's not looking really good for them. They are playing against Vallecano side, who are ninth at the moment, but the performances have been really good, even though they are not getting the points. In the last 5 games, they have won just once and lost once. The last 3 games have been draws, and in my opinion, a couple of them should have been wins, but they are not able to get over that line. I think this is the perfect opportunity for them to get the 3 points. Valladolid are really struggling, and I think this game could be the best opportunity for Rayo to get a good win, and I think they will do it, and in the end I think it will be a convincing win for them as well. I'm going for a 3-1 away win for Rayo Vallecano. The next game is Las Palmas versus Celta Vigo. It's 20th versus 10th. Las Palmas, it's looking really bad for them. I don't think anybody really expected such a bad performance from them prior to the season, but it is really bad at the moment. I mean, they are still winless after 8 games in La Liga, and it is really looking like that they are going to be one of the teams that goes down this season. They lost last weekend against Villarreal 3-1, a convincing win for Villarreal, and I think this weekend they are playing against a Celta Vigo side, who I think have been one of the most entertaining teams of La Liga this season. They are at 10th at the moment, but their performances have been really good, and as I have sort of become a fan of them this season. If I had to choose one club in La Liga, I think at the moment it would be Celta or Villarreal, one of those teams. I really like seeing their games, the way that both of them are playing, and I think I went for a Celta win last weekend as well against Girona, but they were not able to get it over the line in that game. And I think this is the game where they are going to get back to their winning ways. They have not won for I think 3 weeks. It's now last weekend they drew, and before that they had lost 2 weeks on 2 match days in a row. And I think this is the best opportunity for them, playing against a side who is really suffering, who are completely not in form. And I think Celta are going to make sure that they can go ahead and get the win, and I think they will win it, and I think they will win it convincingly. Unfortunately for Las Palmas, they are going to suffer another defeat. I'm going for a 3-0 away win for Celta Vigo. The next game is Real Madrid versus Villarreal. It is the one, like the biggest game of the weekend. The next game is Real Madrid versus Villarreal, and you could say this is the biggest game of La Liga this weekend. It is second versus third. Real Madrid, they are still undefeated in La Liga. One of the 2 teams, the other one being their bitter rivals, Atletico. So they know how important this game is. They are already 4 points behind Barcelona, and they would be really not 4 points, now 3 points behind Barcelona. Sorry, as Barcelona lost last weekend, and they know they lost a great opportunity to be 1 point behind Barcelona by not being able to hold out until the end against the Atleti last weekend. They are back at home at Santiago Bernabeu, and they would want to make sure that they get the win against Villarreal, and they're going into the international break just 3 points behind Barca, and they wouldn't really want anything else to happen before that they play before they play that El Clasico. But they are playing a Villarreal side who are doing really good. If I'm being very honest with you, their form has been really good. They have lost just once in their last 5 games the thing is that game came against Barcelona, so that is the big question. Will Villarreal fall just the way that they did against Barca, or will they be able to keep up pace with Real Madrid? As I said just before that, Villarreal have sort of become my favorite team in La Liga, because I like the way that they are playing football, the way they like to play, and the fans and everything. So I might be a bit biased towards Villarreal, but it is Real Madrid. They are going to be at Santiago Bernabeu, and their players are finally clicking. And the thing is, they lost midweek against Lille in the Champions League, so of course the fans are going to be really pissed. So they want they are going to want to see a response. I've seen as I've said this continuously, that Real Madrid this season have not played up to their potential. They are slowly getting to there where you expect Real Madrid to be, but still there are some little bit things where they need to work it out. And we saw that against Lille, people are gonna come up and say that they got a bit unlucky and whatnot, but you need to beat Lille. You are Real Madrid, especially when Lille are not in such a great form. So again, now this is a big game. I really hope that I don't want I'll be as biased as I can be, but I would love it if Villarreal could get a win, but I don't see that. I think that draw would be the best option to go, but it is Real Madrid, it is that Santiago Bernabeu, and even though they have not performed to the level and they have dropped points a couple of times before in the season, I just think they might have they might be, just because of that result in the Champions League, I think that is what's going to pull them together and get them over the line. I'm going for a very close 2-1 win for Real Madrid. The next game is Girona versus Athletic Club. It is 12th versus 5th, and now Girona, they have not really had a good start to the season, to be very honest with you, and their performances have been quite let down, if I'm being very honest. They have lost important players. We all know that they are in the Champions League. We all know that as well. But the drop in their performances from last season to this has been quite huge. They are not really able to get into rhythm. The momentum is not there for them as well. They are playing against an Athletic Club side who have had a bit of a resurgence after a terrible start. They are undefeated in their last 4 games. They were on a 3-game winning streak before last weekend, when they drew last weekend, and they would want to get back to winning ways. Girona themselves, they drew last weekend as well, so Girona have not really won in their last 4 games. So this is the they would want to go to the international break with something something to give to their fans, but I don't think that is gonna happen. The way that Girona are playing, it is not really looking good for them, and I think they are gonna suffer another defeat. Athletic Club, they would be really disappointed that they dropped points against Sevilla last weekend. I thought they were gonna continue their winning streak, but they dropped points, and I think this is the perfect chance for them to get back to winning ways. This game could really go either way. This game could quite seriously end up in a draw as well, but I think Athletic might have just something in them to get them over the line. So that is why I'm going for a very close 2-1 win for Athletic Club. The next game is Alaves versus Barcelona. It is 12th versus 1st. Alaves, they had a good start to the season, but they have slowly dropped down. They were in the top half for the first 5-6 games, but as I said, they have now dropped down into the mid-table. They lost their last 2 games. They lost last weekend as well against Getafe. I really did not think that was gonna happen. I thought they might get something out of that game, but Getafe were really good in that game, and Alaves lost it quite convincingly. They are now playing a Barcelona side who, let's be honest, are really hurt after last weekend's performance. They lost for the first time, and it was quite a convincing win. You cannot say that Osasuna got lucky in any way, because they were really good, and Barcelona really did not have answer for them, and they are gonna come at Alaves. And I think unfortunately for Alaves, they are gonna have to bear the brunt of Osasuna's good performance. I think Barcelona are gonna come in, and they are gonna come in hard. I'm going for a very convincing 4-1 win for Barcelona. The next game is Sevilla versus Real Betis. It is 13th versus 8th. Now Sevilla, I really don't know what to expect from them. I thought that they were not really going to have a good season, and in a way it is turning out to be that season. I think they are going to finish in mid-table. Their performances have been like that. They have been very inconsistent. They drew last weekend against Athletic Club, which I did not see coming. I thought they were going to lose that game, but they surprised me, and they surprised a lot of people with their performance in that game. So as I said, you don't really know which Sevilla are gonna come in for the weekend. They are playing against a Betis side who are 8th at the moment, and they are at the doorsteps of those European places, and in my opinion they are one of the dark horses to somehow get in those European places. It doesn't matter whether it be the Conference League or the Europa League. I think they are somehow gonna make sure that they try to get in a sneak in into one of those places, and if they really want to do that, I said that last weekend, and they got the win against Leganes, and I am saying this again that if they really want to get into those European places, they need to win games like this one. And I think for some reason I think they are gonna go ahead and do it. So yeah, if I'm being very honest, the logical thing would be to go with a draw, but I prefer to go with my emotions. I prefer to go with my heart rather than go with my brain. So I'm going for a Betis win. I think it will be another close game, but I think Betis somehow get it over the line. I'm going for a 1-0 win for Real Betis. And the final game for match at day 9 and before the international break is Real Sociedad versus Atletico Madrid. Now if before the season has started you would have given me this game, I would have said it is going to be one of the a very close game, highly competitive game. It is going to be quite entertaining to watch, but it has not been like that. Sociedad have been terrible this season. They got their first good performance was last weekend, winning at 3-0 now, and they would have gotten some sort of momentum, some sort of confidence from that win, but how long it is going to last is a big question everybody is going to ask. They are playing against an Athletic side who themselves they are one of the two only defeated teams remaining, other one being Real, of course, but their performances have not been it have nowhere been good, and nowhere been the level that you would have expected from them. They have spent a huge amount of money in summer, but it is not really showing at the moment. They drew against Real and somehow they got the point in the last moment of the game. They score and they get the win, and then in midweek in the Champions League they got thumped 4-0 by Benfica. So that embarrassment is still there, and they are now coming and they are playing a Sociedad side who I think if they play to their potential, and if the way that they have played before, if they really put into that practice, I think they can really hurt Atleti. And I think Atleti are gonna be under so much pressure. This is the first season where I have really seen fans really turning their back against Simeone after every game, because the amount of money that they have spent, everybody expected it to be a very good season for Atleti. I said in my prediction I thought it was going to be a 2-horse race between Real and Atletico Madrid, and Barcelona were nowhere in the talking, but Atletico Madrid have been really poor. There have been other teams who have played better football. They might have not won the games. Atleti somehow are winning the games, and that's why they are still at 4. But I think their performances have not been really good, and I think that is the case where this is going to be the case again this weekend. I think they are going to drop points again. I'm being very honest. I said in my Champions League prediction, I think that they were going to lose, and they lost that game. I did not think they were going to lose so bad, but they lost, and I think it is going to be the same this weekend. I think Sociedad somehow are going to get a point out of this game. I think it will be a close game. I'm going for a 1-1 draw between Real Sociedad and Atletico Madrid. And with that, my predictions for match day 9 of La Liga are complete, and we are gonna see how many of those are correct and how many of them are wrong at the end of the weekend. And we're gonna see how I'm doing up until this time for all the weekends, because it's international break. So we are gonna review all the 9 weekends, and we're gonna see how many points I have done in each week. 3 points if my entire prediction is correct, 2 points if the prediction is right but the scoreline is not correct. You guys can go ahead and play with me, make your prediction in the comment section below, and we'll see at the end of the weekend whose predictions were right. Like the video, share it as well, click on the notification bell, and of course subscribe to the channel. We are trying to get to 400 subscribers before the month of October ends, so please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We are going to bring in more content during the international break. We're going to focus on international football. There are World Cup qualification, conference, the European League as well. So a lot of things are going to happen during the international break, which are not like the regular content you get during the season. So for all that, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and make sure that we are able to achieve our target of getting to 400 subscribers before the end of this month. So yeah, go ahead and subscribe. Until next time, bye bye.